Hello and welcome to the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast, episode 516. I'm Adam, and here's Ben Shoveler.
Hi, I'm the Master, and these are my friends.
And here's Kirby Bartlett Sloan.
It's a glass mask.
Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome to yet another year of the 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast.
The penultimate
They will
year.
understand me.
Penultimate year of me being on it. I can't be too presumptuous to think that nobody else would want to take on the mantle as of 2023.
I'd be presumptuous if I were you.
Oh, you want to do it, do you?
No.
No.
No one wants to take over.
Oh, right, yes, that's true. Right, we have stuff.
After this.
No. We got stuff coming through on the live feed. We got Chris Mockridge saying, hey! Lillian Robbins saying, hi! Terry Miles saying, Happy New Year, 20 Megabyte.
Happy New Year, Terry Miles.
Happy New Year, Terry Miles. And Ian Kirk
and also, while we're on that subject, Happy New Year to Eve Miles.
Thank you. And Ian Kirk says, I had technical difficulties now editing my audio. Thank you for that live update, Ian. And here we are.
He could just send in the one he sent us 9 years ago.
Today we're going to be talking about Sound of Drums and Last of the Time Lost. But first of all, Eve of the Daleks.
Are we doing both of them?
Yeah, of course we're doing both. That's one story. Eve of the Daleks was on yesterday. Have you had a chance to see it, Kirby?
No.
Why has it gone all quiet?
I said no, I have not seen it.
Ah, you want me to talk about it then, obviously, because you like your spoilers.
No, yeah, I don't care if you talk about it. You know how I am with spoilers.
Okay, well,
I
am going to talk about it precisely because you don't mind about spoilers. So anybody who does mind about spoilers, either just sort of mute for a bit. Maybe I should do a visual thumbs up when we come to the end of the spoiler bit.
Excuse me, I'm here.
Hello.
You're going to ask me if I watched it?
Have you watched it?
No.
Are you going to watch it?
I've recorded it. It's on my TiVo box.
All right, I'll just say briefly.
Master.
Oh, jeez.
Master.
Yes.
I was going to watch it last night, but the geek daughter, who will not watch New Doctor Who at all anymore, wanted to watch Hawkeye finally with me.
Understandably so, but that's not the right time to watch it, to be fair. Right. Okay, I shall briefly outline. I'm not going to do a synopsis because, like I said, it's basically a base under siege episode containing Daleks, a bit of Groundhog Day, a bit of Live, Die, Repeat, and a very small cast. Lots of corridors. It's just sort of, and a very easy to understand sort of storyline compared with Chris Chibnall's normal stuff. And I think it's also got a very large degree of Marmite because me and Simon Fisher-Becker absolutely loved it. And there's a few others that didn't. So I wonder what side that Mary would fall on when we speak to her next. But I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a good standalone episode of Doctor Who. The only thing I didn't really like was the potential suggestion of love interest during the episode, which was sort of like, what a surprise. Anyway, so I enjoyed it. It's proper Doctor Who, but people just moaned and grumbled about stuff when they don't like it, don't they? Yes.
You want me to read you what Mary said about it?
Want me to review it?
No, do you want me to read to you what Mary said about it?
Well, before you do that, Chris Mockridge says, awful episode. We've hardly got started, Chris. Give us a chance. And Ian Kirk says, there is a spoiler full review of... Oh, a spoiler. I think you mean spoiler full review of Eve of the Daleks in my audio. Nice one. Ian. Terry Miles, I agree with Chris Mockridge. Oh, come on. Why is everybody picking on us? I said we've only got a couple of years to go before I knock it on the head. Anyway, go on then. Do the Mary bit then, Kirby.
She said the new Dalek episode was actually quite boring with the groundhog. Groundhog Day theme becoming tedious. That story device has been done better with more interesting characters. And, of course, we have to have a love relationship between the Doctor and a companion. Yawn.
Well, that's happened and has been happening for the last 3 series, so I'm not really fussed
She
about
also
that.
will have, when it comes time to read other feedback, she's got a small paragraph, 2 sentences about what we're talking about today.
Splendid. But to say, I think it's definitely a Marmite thing. I quite enjoyed it. The girls enjoyed it. So I go back of me being a Doctor Who fan and quite enjoying it, and them two not being Doctor Who fans and quite enjoying it. So that says to me it wasn't too bad.
Can you put it on toast?
Well, Marmite,
No, the Doctor Who episode.
you could probably do it somehow, but it wouldn't do the episode much good. Right then.
Okay.
So
Because
now we
obviously Marmite you can put on toast, and
We're
if
gonna
you couldn't
try-
put the episode on toast, and the simile is quite frankly rubbish.
I want some Marmite.
Anyway,
Ah,
the sound of drums, which we're going to try and go through as quickly as we can. The Doctor, Martha, and Captain Jack sort of land in contemporary London and feel a bit sick because the Doctor's sort of had a fiddle with Jack's
Master.
Jack's master.
Not needed.
Master.
Yeah, that.
No, the vortex manipulator always causes.
I know that, but
that sort
a
of
little
thing.
bit
It's
more
not
on this
because-
occasion, because he's been fiddling with his vortex manipulator. Anyway, they arrive.
Yeah, but he fiddles with it in order for them to get back from where they were. But the vortex manipulator always, no matter what, makes one queasy, shall we say?
Thank you. I haven't used one myself, but thanks for the insight.
No, I can confirm it does.
Anyway, there's a little bit of flashback to the bit that we didn't see from the previous episode, because the previous episode, of course, they were trapped and they were being attacked by these humankind toclophanes, or what we want to call them. And they're looking around and they're seeing lots of Saxon posters.
Future kind, not human.
Oh, be
kind.
quiet! God's sake! They're seeing shots of the Master, and of course Martha says, "Oh, I knew I recognised that voice. It's Harold Saxon." And of course the Doctor says something on the lines, the Master is Prime Minister of Great Britain. That sort of stuff. And of course the iconic line of the Master saying, "All the world needs right now is a Doctor," into the camera. I'm surprised it didn't go as far.
Why did he say that? Was he expecting the Doctor?
Of course he was. I'm surprised he didn't.
No, he got the song wrong.
But I'm surprised it didn't have a little glint of a spark coming off his teeth when he did that little smile, like they did on the old Crest adverts. So the Master, sorry, John Sim playing the Master, is really, really quite funny in these stories, especially the scene which is coming up. He's a bit made me vomit a little bit the way he was with his wife, to be fair, because it was a bit not in public, you know. But he calls in his cabinet meeting, and then that absolutely wonderful scene in which he just throws the paper up in the air and sort of has a bit of a go, how shall we say, his cabinet. And then
With the glass mask.
yeah, it's
Are you
just
feeling all
brilliant.
right tonight, Adam?
Sorry,
Are you feeling all right?
why? Because I enjoy this bit.
Well, no. It's just the fact that you've skipped over Harold Saxon's rather attractive, lovely-chested wife, and normally you'd bring that up
Has she got a
and
lovely
say how
chest?
attractive she was.
Well, she's pretty, but I didn't notice that bit about the chest. Sorry. Now
Didn't you?
you've made it. You've
I
made
remember
my video
being
freeze.
bought out back in the day.
Oh, you've made me video freeze now. I lost where I was.
It's all right.
Ben.
Blame you
Oh, it's all right.
I've
Back
been
up and running now. Where do we get up to? And then this smarmy lady, I think she's a reporter, comes in to have a
Yes, she's a reporter.
sort of interview with Mrs. Saxon, and then we have a little flash of some.
Mrs. Saxon.
Then we have a little like a montage of celebrities, like Sharon Osbourne, and I think it's a very young McFly, and of course
Yes.
Anne Widdecombe, all doing these little montage cameos.
Everyone that I didn't recognize except for Sharon Osbourne.
Thank you, Kirby. So they sit in Martha's bedroom for a bit.
And then they find a straight out of Acme cartoons.
What, the dynamite?
This big dynamite thing.
I love that.
It says dynamite.
Yeah. We didn't say Acme dynamite, does it? Maybe there is a sort of a problem with copyright. Anyway, me video's frozen again because you interrupted me, and it's running again now. And of course, the interview gets interrupted by the Master coming in and welcoming his new friends to the reporter woman, the Doctor-Vane, who look a little bit like...
The longest scream in the world.
Sorry?
The longest scream in the world.
Oh, right, okay. Well, so
No, that officially goes to, I can't remember his name, a French footballer, after he pretended he got kicked in a match once.
Oh, yeah, I saw that on TikTok. And it was also a bit like a Liverpool fan that was in the shop the other day when they lost their most recent game 1-0. It might have been a child going, but the difference would be difficult to work out. That's gone over your head, Kirby, isn't it?
No, it's not, because the child is probably more coherent.
Yes.
I apologise, I was only joking, Scousers.
I did a Scouser thing last week and got verified. Anyway, so she gets done in by this Doctor-Vane and the Doctor-Vane's little whirly knives. And like you say, the Doctor explains to Jack and Martha that he's fused the coordinates in the TARDIS with his sonic magic wand screwdriver so it can only fly or transport between contemporary
Fly is good.
Earth and a trillion years into the future. So there's a lot of time in between then and then that the Master could have travelled. You were saying there, Kirby?
Didn't want it.
I said fly is a perfectly good term for the TARDIS travelling.
Thank you, Kirby. You're not going to get a
bell.
bell.
No problem with it.
Anyway, then there's the Master comes on the telly and
do they wipe it off?
Shut up. And said there's going to be the meeting. These some aliens be welcome, first contact, etc. Or in real Doctor Who terms, probably about 168th contact.
Yes.
They do like using that, don't they?
Yeah.
Everyone thinks they're the first. It's like being a teenager. You think you're the first all the time, but you're not.
Ironically, the Master, of course, is an alien himself, so that would have been a bit...
I thought you said the Master was nailing himself.
Something makes the Doctor realise that the room is booby-trapped, because the Master does a little speech on the telly. And they all run, and the house blows up.
Master?
In a CGI fashion. Yes?
Did you notice in the background of Martha's apartment, her knickers are still hanging on the little thing?
No, I didn't notice that, Kirby. And I do worry about you, the fact that you did. Yes, there's a great big explosion. This street does rather look like a street in Penarth, because I recognise the houses.
It probably is.
Yeah. Anyway, so Martha phones her mummy up, and of course the mummy's phone still being tapped by Saxon's cute blonde sidekick. And this is actually the last time we see the Master's cute blonde sidekick, henchwoman. So it's a bit of a shame because she was very pretty. But of course they're trying to make.
There we go.
Yeah, of course.
Master.
I nearly got the sentence out.
They filmed on High Street in Penarth, Arcot Street in Penarth, and Queen's Road in Penarth, and the Esplanade.
I thought it was Queen's Road.
Yeah, been to all those places when I used to skive off school. Chris Mockery says, Mammy in the background in the phone, G Father Ted. And I kept on thinking it was something to do with, it just reminded me of Mrs. Brown's Boys, which is a very popular comedy programme on BBC occasionally once a year at Christmas.
I think you're right there. I think it's very popular occasionally.
1 year at Christmas. Anyway, so I was trying to point out that Martha's parents are trying to make out that they're getting back together again, just to try and coax Martha to go and see them. And of course Dad says, "Run, Martha, run!" And he gets dragged away by some henchmen.
Paul from EastEnders, not Paul. Was he in EastEnders?
Ian in EastEnders, yeah, he was.
Martha's dad.
Yeah, I think he was in EastEnders at some point.
I think he was he the Doctor's brother?
Yes. No, that's another bloke. He was. He had been in EastEnders, I think, the dad. But no, that was. You're thinking about what's his name? The Walker bloke. The legend that is. You know, the chap with the surname Walker who was in the War Games when he was very young, and Love Thy Neighbour, and the Thin Blue Line. I can't remember his first name.
Trevor Laird was not in EastEnders.
Was he not?
No, I don't see it listed at all.
No,
now,
but I'm trying. Okay,
you do have to remember that this is his. He's been in Doctor Who before in 1986.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's where I've seen him before.
Mind Warp.
Yes, I thought I reckoned. No, I know I'd seen his face, but well done, Kirby. Oh, go on then. No, I'm just thinking about.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
Oh, jeez, no, I can't remember. I mean, the actor's name who plays. He was in Love Thy Neighbour. He's got the surname Walker. Oh, it's annoying. Somebody will come up with the right name. Anyway, he had a son
playing
in EastEnders.
who?
Playing who? He wasn't in this episode. We were talking about his son, who was in EastEnders, that looks like this chap, and he had another son in EastEnders that was a doctor as in a medical doctor, and I can't remember the name of the actor with the surname Walker. Isn't it awful? Rudolph Walker. Thank you, Terry Miles. Yeah, Rudolph Walker, legend that is. He should be Sir Rudolph Walker in my view. He's a consummate actor, and I'm going back to Doctor Who. All right, sorry. So there's a scene in which Martha's family get dragged away by a large amount of henchmen, and there's a little bit of a car chase with Martha driving, and then Martha starts phoning around her relatives, finds her brother is quite safe and out of reach of baddies with his rather attractive girlfriend and pushing her pram. I presume it's his girlfriend.
Oh, Rudolph Walker was in the War Games.
Rudolph Walker.
Oh, for goodness sake. I said he was in the War Games at the beginning of me forgetting his name.
Paul Truman was Gary Beadle.
Ah, there we go. I saw him play football in Newport when the celebrity team came to the island.
I was checking to see if maybe he. Never mind.
Good. I like the never mind bit. Right. So the doctor grabs the phone off Martha. The master, who's listening in, takes this opportunity and rather relishes a little chat with his old foe, and they have a lovely little conversation. I'm just moving forward.
Call me by my name.
What?
It's something like, I like to use my name.
Call me by my name.
Yeah.
Call me by my name.
No, he says, I love it when you call me by my name. That's what he actually says, yes. Anyway, then you thought, will this sound ever stop, Doctor?
No, I like it when you use my name.
That's it. And he's using all the CCTV network to watch where they are. And then we see a little montage of news reports from the usual suspects that appear in Doctor Who on news reports, apart from the Daily Dubbers, of course, who also appear because they're flicking through the channels. The
Master's deliberately watching the Teletubbies in a deliberate homage to the Master watching whatever it was.
I know. I do sometimes feel, Kirby, that you talk to us as if we've never watched Doctor Who before.
Sometimes I wonder if you've seen them.
You wonder if I've seen any Doctor Who.
They put it on because it's another BBC programme that's sold by BBC World.
Yes.
And so therefore they're probably
another programme that's well known in the United States. Saddos. Right, so the Doctor and Martha are waiting for a delivery of some nice chippy chips while they're in their little hideout, and the Doctor tells the story of how the Master... Oh, for goodness sake.
How did Martha not get recognised? Because she's Public Enemy 1, 2, and 3.
I don't know. Anyway,
because it's a science fiction fantasy TV program.
You're right.
As I was trying to say, the Doctor then tells a story how his old friend, the Master, went a bit doolally because he stared into the untempered schism, i.e. the time vortex. Master. And saw what was to come, what was been, and what has been.
Master.
Yes.
Couple of things. First of all, they obviously picked the Untempered Schism is pretty much a rewrite of Douglas Adams's Total Perspective Vortex, where where if you see the entire universe all at once and you see a tiny speck of your importance in it.
Your
and
importance?
Of course, the only person
is that the importance of urine?
The only person
No?
who ever
Okay.
survived the Total Perspective Vortex was Zaphod Beeblebrox. But the other thing, since this is the first time we've seen Time Lords in full regalia in the series,
Yeah.
they didn't have any costumes made, so they borrowed all of those costumes from an exhibition.
What, the Blackpool one?
Probably.
Can I just also point out that Untempered Schism is very fun to say, and we should all say it a little bit more
It is
often.
quite good fun to say.
Yeah, I like Untempered Schism.
There was a podcast called The Untempered.
There was fun. I was about to say that.
You don't think I know anything about Doctor Who, do you, Kirby? Come on. I've written 2 books about Doctor Who in my time. Anyway.
Sometimes, though, you get things mixed up.
But not in the books, I didn't.
You did. It was
Well,
one of
there
them
we
was
go.
about Star Trek. I remember.
Oh,
I
The whole
didn't do
I
it.
book.
think I found a mistake.
Captain Kirk, you kept on going on about.
I don't remember
I
doing
think
it.
I found a
Shut up.
mistake in your
Oh, here we
Doctor
go.
Who quiz book.
Here we go.
Don't rip him apart
I used
on
your
the
Doctor Who
podcast,
quiz
Kirby.
book when I was doing quizzes at conventions.
Here we go.
Oh, I miss conventions.
Right, okay. I'll move on then. The Doctor creates a perception
Untempered
filter
Schism.
after being told a little story or seeing the video of the now dead reporter.
Untempered Schism.
Ism, yeah.
She's getting better.
And so he makes this little these sort of perception doodahs and so they can hang around their necks and not be noticed. And the next scene, of course, is the American president-elect arriving and not liking
that
the
is that is
at all.
confusing because he calls himself the president several times. He should only be there if he's the president, and yet on the Valiant he says he's president-elect.
Yes.
I don't think you'd get an official visit from a president-elect
Right.
in this country.
No, you wouldn't. But these.
And he's also traveling on Air Force One, but he calls himself the president-elect.
God.
Well, that would
one
never
point.
happen, would it?
No.
God, they've got so much
It's
wrong in
Doctor
this episode.
Who,
It's
it
just
doesn't
gone
matter.
right down in my estimations.
Anyway, so he spends a bit of time winding up the president, which is very amusing.
Master.
And
Master.
yes, the master's winding up the president. Yes, I just said that.
If you'll take
how
a look,
ironic is that?
if you'll take a look at the in that scene where they're out on the tarmac, the coat that the master is wearing is later the exact same coat that Peter Capaldi would wear as the Doctor.
That's quite an interesting fact, actually. So
But it's got the red lining.
I didn't notice that. Are you sure it's
Very
exactly the same
unusual
coat?
I'm pretty sure it's the same coat.
Well, I'm going to have
I've
to
got
do
a
some
comparison
checking of
picture that I made several years ago. I could show you.
I'd rather you didn't. I'm just flicking back. Hey, I can't see anything red in that lining
Yeah,
anyway.
stick it on the Facebook page, Kirby. We'd
And
all
because
like
I
to see
went backwards, I've now lost the video thing now. It's frozen again. Thanks, Kirby. Oh, it's back again.
Very definitely see it as it flaps open.
Beg your pardon?
You can see the red as he
You can see the
goes
red
and opens
flaps
the police
open.
van, and all of Martha's family comes
I
out.
thought
You
we were
can see
talking
the
about
red.
something then different for a minute there. I got a bit worried. I know. So there are this the surprising fact about this what's it called in Valiant or something
Valiant.
is it's a massive drone basically flying above,
And it's
above
almost
the clouds.
identical to the one used by S.H.I.E.L.D. in the Marvel Universe.
But what came first? In regards
probably
to
the Marvel Universe one.
was it like that in the comics though?
Probably.
Whatever. Right. So where do we get up to? So they're aboard this this big flying aircraft carrier, and the master's sort of relishing his his thing, what he's going to do. The president hasn't done it yet, though. While the Doctor finds the TARDIS, goes inside and finds that it's been cannibalised. It's now become a paradox machine. That means there's two Doctors inside it, Kirby. Paradox machine.
No, you've got the Doctor and the Master, not Paradox.
Yes, I'm
You
trying
need
to...
another Doctor.
Yeah, I'm trying to nick your joke that you... joke that you used to... come up with. So anyway, they wait for the live feed to happen while the President does a little bit of a speech to, I presume, the whole world. And then the Master sort of lets the Toclafane play with the President for a bit before eventually killing him, basically, or getting the
Guess what?
What?
The Marvel Universe stole the idea from Doctor Who.
How'd you
It
know?
didn't first show up until looks like 2012.
Now, Kirby, judging by your previous words, do you think that would stand up in court? Because I've just got a text off someone called Mr. Marvel Lawyer, who's interested in a copy of those words.
It wasn't John Favreau, was it?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so
when I see that view of the Valiant, I'm always expecting Iron Man to fly up in there to help repair one of the engines.
I have a funny
Iron
feeling,
Man's not in
Kirby.
Doctor Who.
I have a funny feeling that you're getting a bit confused. I have in my hand Cannibalised from the Master. The Master's little sonic gadget. Isn't it cool?
No, it's a laser screwdriver. It's not sonic.
Oh, it's a laser suit, but it's cool. Look, it does actually have a laser on it. If anybody's watching the... I hope I haven't injured anybody
Are you going to burn out your camera
What?
by pointing it directly at your camera? And
I did
burning
point it
out?
directly at the camera to show the viewers the laser bit. I just hope I didn't, injure anybody.
Oh, the feed's gone off, Ad.
Anyway, talking about this thing here, this is what he uses to make the Doctor old. I do love it when he calls him Gramps later on. And of course, everything starts, falling apart for our friends as the Master then rips open the sky, which is quite a cool effect actually, and lets all the Doctor fame. While his wife has a little bit of a sort of dance as if she's on something, and the actress who plays
she's on a helicarrier.
Yeah. What?
She's on the helicarrier.
I know she's having a little bit of a dance. And she does look like she's... Oh, I see. Very funny, Kirby.
I thought she looked like she was on crack.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to imply.
I thought I'd say it rather than just mucking about, because otherwise
And
I'll
Martha,
miss the start the darts in a minute.
The Doctor whispers something in Martha's ear, and off she goes and leaves them all to it. And the Tennant does a lot of the sort of deep breathing he seems to do a lot in this episode. And it's actually in tune to a certain extent with the sting of the title sequence. That's it.
Now, 9 years ago, when we discussed this story, we were talking about the Tennant seeing himself in the old age makeup and saying he looked like his granddad or something like that.
Yeah.
And we actually got it wrong when he said that, because he actually said that for the Getting Older episode earlier in the season.
Yeah, it was interesting, that, wasn't it? He's got hair when he got older in the previous series, but he hasn't got hair now.
I also thought that if he looked like his granddad, what was his granddad kept in a little budgie cage?
Anyway, so Martha misses a year later. It's a year later.
Wait a second, I need to change the DVD to put on the next episode.
Oh, God's sake.
Give me a second.
What bloody decade are we in? Is it the 1990s?
No, I needed to go to the menu and select the next episode.
Kirby, is your house completely retro?
What are you talking about?
You're having to go and change the DVD?
No, I had to change to the next episode. I did not say play all.
Okay. Well, I had to go open up a different streaming window to get my one started up. Anyway, where did I get up to? Oh, ouch! Just fired the laser thing to my foot. Where did we get up to? Yeah, so this is a year later, and Martha's been around the world, and she comes to meet Lucifer on the beach.
Yes, good. You remember this time it's Lucifer, because I don't think Lucifer existed back 9 years ago.
No, it wouldn't have done, would it? He did
because you identified him with some other show that I'd never heard of.
Miranda.
Okay.
Which apparently is a new series coming up. Pardon?
Which is coming back.
Yeah, and we don't know. Is Tom Ellis going to be in it? I think he will, because I think he loves
I think he'll be in it via Zoom calls.
I think he would be a good doctor.
I think he'd be a good doctor, actually, Kirby. So I said it first. I get the ding.
Yes, you do.
I didn't say it on the show first. I said it to Isabella first, and Isabella agreed. So then we have a little bit of some comedy scenes between the Master and the Doctor. I love the scene where he just pushes the Doctor's wheelchair away and it collides with a fixture. And the Doctor just there, like, not doing much with the rest of his face because it's rubber, just doing lots of eye acting, which is fantastic. This is Tennant, not the Doctor, I beg your pardon. And of course, all of Martha's family have got menial jobs, but they've got a plan which involves 3 fingers. And they keep showing each other 3 fingers. And Captain Jack has been suspended from some chains, and he's a bit dirty. Everybody else has been allowed to have a bit of a wash. Again. But Captain Jack has not been allowed to have a bit of a wash, but he is allowed to get fed by Tish. Tish is quite nice looking. I don't know if I've mentioned that before.
And why is the Master put them all in maid costumes?
To humiliate them, perhaps?
But that's...
No? Okay.
What? Some maids may like being maids.
Maybe
I think it's a shame he didn't put Martha in a maid's
Oh dear, right then, what is this show becoming?
Could have put Martha's dad in a maid's costume.
Anyway, Lillian Robbins says, I've been blinded. I apologise, Lillian.
With Kirby.
I apologise, Lillian. The blind setting, I couldn't find any of the other buttons on it, to be fair, but this might undo it.
About?
I'll try. Oh, it did extend. Oh, there you go. It's got a different noise. There we go.
I think you said something that Ben talked over.
I did, or Ben did?
Ben talked over you saying something someone had posted.
Yeah, I said Lillian posted I've been blinded, but I have this button here, which, there we go, undoes all the stuff I accidentally did earlier on. Anyway, so Lucifer and Martha have now teamed up, almost like, because he's a doctor, so she's now got a new doctor to travel around with. And she's been travelling around with this doctor for a year, which is actually longer than she's actually been with the Doctor. Isn't it, Kirby?
No, she's not been travelling with this Doctor a year. This is close to the end of her travels around the world.
Okay, fair enough.
She just met him on that beach to go and see the other Doctor who she's going to trick.
Okay, anyway, Martha's dad tries to sabotage the engine room of the thingy, and the Doctor manages to get hold of this. There's sort of sonic laser doodah. And, of course, it's isomorphic, Kirby. So what does that mean?
It can only be used by one person whose genetics it's been programmed to.
I always thought that the TARDIS was isomorphic, but the Master was able to nick it. There you go. Unless it was originally the Master's TARDIS.
I believe that the TARDIS was sometimes isomorphic and sometimes not.
Depending on who's writing the story.
Exactly.
So yeah, that little mission to thwart the Master failed, which gives the Master the opportunity to put the Doctor in a little office chair and spin him around with his foot. So Martha is in full scheme mode, and she is enlisting a little team of people because she's got this these sort of serums that she's collected from around the world, and she needs one more. And what does all 4 serums do, Kirby?
absolutely nothing because they're
Oh,
fake.
no. What are we led to believe that these serums do?
I was when I first saw it. I thought that's the only way of killing a Time Lord, dead. But no.
Thank you. That's what I wanted.
Is it the only thing that will remove Boris Johnson from government?
No, I believe this is the predecessor to Viagra. That's all it was. Anyway, where do we get up to? So,
that's a hell of a trek to go to, mate.
The Doctor's quite old, isn't he? So then Master goes on a very ropey TV signal to broadcast. He's hoping to Martha scenes of the Doctor being made rather old. Being made rather old process, having his regenerations, stopped, makes you wriggle around a lot and fall on the
become
floor.
Very small, very tiny.
And you become Dobby Doctor.
Yes. Dobby didn't like that much.
I'm not going to talk for a year now because you've upset me. You've made me all small.
But where do we get up to? So hang on. We hear a few little stories. One's the story of the lady schemer person who her son has gone missing, and the Doctor whispering something again into Martha's ear. We do find out what he whispers later. They capture a toclophane. There's billions of these on Earth apparently at the moment, but the one they happen to capture is the one of that little Scottish boy from the previous. Oh, here we go. It's a no. It's a no.
We discussed this 9 years ago. Where were you?
Go on then.
All of them are linked together, and they all have the same voice, and that voice just happens to be that kid.
Okay, I accept that. I just knocked the microphone with my finger. Apologies to the listeners. Anyway, so the Master is desperate.
You need to remember things that we discussed 9 years ago.
Hold of Martha. Anyway, they open up the toclophane because, like I said, it was the boy, but it does sort of end up with somebody shot it dead, didn't they?
Yes, Lucifer.
Lucifer shot it dead. Hang on, somebody's inside.
When I was watching this with Fred the other night, and that came on, she went, "Ooh, ugly."
Yeah. I have noticed, though, in this second half, that Mrs. Saxon doesn't look particularly happy. Because of the previous episode, she was
kicked around by the Master.
Yeah, the previous episode was really, really happy, but you can see a difference in her in this episode. Yeah.
What was that?
That's the wife telling me what time she's going to finish watching a film.
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it's not. It's the daughter, actually. Same text.
Yeah.
Same text.
Anyway, so the Martha is taken to a safe house where there's loads of people, and she's able to tell these people the story. Meanwhile,
she's not very safe there, is she?
Well, she would have been if her sidekick hadn't gone and blabbed everything to the Master, who very quickly turns up in the street and asks for Martha to come out, and of course she does, and throws the bag of goodies to the Master, who then zaps it with this. Hang on, I won't point it at the camera. And of course then Lucifer comes flying out and is deaded by the Masters, and he's just about to Martha, but she doesn't get did. She gets brought up to the.
Are you Blue Bottle?
She gets brought up to the aircraft carrier thingamajig, where she's surrounded by her old friends. They still haven't been bothered to give Jack a bit of a wash, which I think's appalling. And of course, Birdcage
He's barely in this episode.
Sorry?
He's barely in this episode.
No, he's got his clothes on. That's when he got a bear that he got into all that trouble. Anyway,
John Barrowman got into a bear. That would cause trouble. That would be a headline. I've got
a bit of a bear hug off him while we had our picture.
Oh, you met him, have you? I wondered. Hold on a minute. There's names dropping.
Well, we were watching the Harry Potter reunion this afternoon.
well?
Eh?
Nothing.
I say we were watching the Harry Potter reunion thing on Sky Max earlier on today, and there's a few people on there that I met, including Mark Williams.
I haven't
of
had a
course,
chance to watch that yet.
It's very
I'm
good.
not going to.
You're not going to.
I've never seen anything to do with Harry Potter in my life.
Okay, there you go. So,
You're a lizard, Harry.
What?
I'm
You
a
haven't
Lucy,
seen- you
and my
haven't seen
name's
that
not Harry.
meme? You haven't seen that meme? You're a lizard, Harry?
Oh, I see.
Yep,
You're a
right.
wizard, Harry. You're a lizard, Harry. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, so Master thinks he's about to have a great fun in killing everybody, and then of course Martha tells him that they've tapped into this something web. What's it called again?
Archangel Network.
The Archangel Network, yes, which enables that everybody thinks the same word at the same time. It makes the Doctor into a god, and he sort of comes back to his normal self. Doesn't damage
different
himself.
clothes, though.
Different clothes, but floats. It becomes floaty, and everybody around the world is saying "Doctor, Doctor." Even everybody within the little room is saying "Doctor, Doctor," much to the Master's annoyance. And then he sort of floats over. I forgive you,
In the Master.
Hmm.
In the confidential, Tennant says that he went into work that morning not expecting to really be flying around on wires. He thought they were going to do it all CGI.
Right.
And he ends up with someone knocks on his door of his trailer and hands him the little harness. Uh-oh.
What, the Kirby?
Yes.
Anyway, they do transport to a sort of rocky area that looks a little bit like a quarry. We've got to mention
It is a quarry.
We've got to mention about the Master's massive statue, so the Master can show the Doctor all these missiles that have been sort of set up. And,
Christ.
It's Vaynor Quarry.
Is it now? Anyway, Jack gets killed again. But he won't be dead for long. The Master pleads the Doctor pleads with the Master. Come on, we can be friends. Oh, you can stay with me. We'll travel the universe, and you can be my little friend.
And isn't that what happened? Didn't he have the Master in the TARDIS in that animated thing that we saw?
Possibly, yes.
Yes.
And also, Missy was a companion for a little while as well. So he basically, the Doctor's nearly managed to win, and until the Master gets shot in the belly by, and this is obviously planned by his missus, and then refuse to regenerate, which causes the Doctor to blub a little bit and go, regenerate.
Please regenerate. I'm sorry.
I must admit, I do
I'm
love
so
David Tennant. Yeah,
Please
sorry.
regenerate. If you don't regenerate, I'll be the last of the time. Nobody wants that, do they? So just regenerate.
I think you can't blame
Come on.
you can't blame the Master for not regenerating when you've got David Tennant huffing and breathing dribble all over you and tears and stuff while you're lying in his
I mean,
arms.
he must have had a shower and a half out during that film.
Anyway,
Right,
Master.
another take. No, not another take. Seriously, darlings, I can't put up with this anymore.
So yeah, the Master's dead apparently, and they sort of rather melancholically say goodbye to Captain Jack, who he did offer him a place in the TARDIS to travel around with him, but no, Jack wants to go and see his little friends at Torchwood, and of course he tells them a little story about when he was young, and they used to call him the Face of Bo.
What?
Which has never been,
What?
clarified. What?
No.
Master,
But surely, if he's... But then, why would... Oh, if only Mary was here.
Master.
Oh, no.
I'm rereading the Writer's Tale. I got the expanded version, so now I have two versions of the same book.
Right.
That's RTD's book about writing the next series. But in it, he does discuss this scene, the Face of Bo scene, and he says, RTD very definitely says, yes, he is the Face of Bo.
Well, he is. Of course he is. They've made that so apparently obvious. They don't need
Well,
to write it in your book.
a lot of people refuse to believe it.
Yes, but I refuse to believe that Jodie Whittaker's the Doctor. So
Yeah, and a lot of people refuse to believe that the Doctor is the timeless child.
Timeless child, right?
And
I refuse to believe that.
And a lot of people also refuse to believe that Eve of the Daleks was quite an enjoyable story. It happens.
I refuse to believe. Adam,
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
Can I throw in a little spoiler, Adam, for you?
No, well, you could do. I won't take much notice of it.
Just a little spoiler. Just a little spoiler.
Yeah.
The Master is not dead.
Ian Kirk says...
You've got to put him on a funeral pyre like Darth Vader.
You see how I threw my voice there,
don't you?
Ian?
But then his ring drops out, which sounds a bit painful.
Ian Kirk says, I'm listening now. I reconfigured and was stuck in a self-storage building in Manchester. That's a reference to Eve of the Eve of the Daleks. And Eve of the Daleks is actually just a couple of letters short of Evil of the Daleks. That was
I know. You keep saying it. I keep thinking Evil of the Daleks.
Anyway, so yeah.
I keep on thinking you're going to say Eve Miles of the Daleks.
Oh God. Anyway. Yeah, so the next scene is Martha's having a bit of a sort of, welcome home party with the family while the Doctor stands outside and has a little smile with Mummy. And then Martha comes out and basically says, I'm not coming with you, but I might see you again because I've been hired to do a couple of episodes in the next series.
Because they wrote me out too quickly before everyone realised I was actually not a bad character.
Yes.
And now they've hired this ginger comedian who's been on telly's like a man for like the last 10 years. I don't know what I'm going to do, but anyway, good luck with her. I think that's what she said.
And then
I might paraphrased a bit.
Then we cut to a funeral pyre where there's this ring, the Master's ring. There's something significant about this ring, and then a hand with red nail varnish comes down and collects it. So we know obviously the Master's not dead. That's surprising, isn't it? The Doctor then is sort of having a bit of time to himself, and there's a crashing noise, and the bow of a ship comes through the TARDIS console room, and
Master?
Let me finish. There's a like a ring thingy, life belt thingy ring with the words Titanic on it.
What?
What?
You mean a life room?
Master. Next week we have to discuss the scene in between Martha leaving and the Titanic.
We do?
Yes.
Why?
The Fifth Doctor shows up.
Oh, yes.
So yeah, we have. And 9 years ago, we also did the same thing.
But I don't know how to find that particular. Because
it
was on one of my DVDs, and I wouldn't know where.
I know where it is. I'll get it to you.
Thank you. Anyway, so that's it then. That's it until the little special that you were talking about. Oh, by the way, you're talking about Peter Davison, aren't you?
Yes.
I've met him, by the way. Right.
So have I.
So have I. Okay. The sounds of the drums and Last of the Time Lords. Yeah, it's okay, isn't it? It's quite good fun. Has a couple of very, very, very silly things in it, i.e. flying doctors. I know there was a lot, I seem to remember last time we spoke about this, a lot of moaning and grumbling about this God thingy, this sort of having faith in the Doctor makes him fly. But they did try and rather loosely explain it away with this Archangel network thingy, I suppose. It's slightly acceptable.
And in the next episode, we've got angels again.
Have we? Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, so it's quite an enjoyable finale. Some good characters, lots of whizzing around everywhere. Some brilliance from John Simmers, the Master, and it's a bit of an ensemble again, isn't it? But yeah, I quite enjoyed it watching it back again. So yeah, that's all I can say about it, really. What did you think about it, Ben?
Yeah, certainly one of the best episodes of Series 3. Is it one of the best end of series double heads? Well, has Kirby's just ruined the tension? Yeah, no, it's I think out of the first 4 series, it's probably at least at best third, isn't it? Although it's still really good.
Okay.
John Sim is by far and away my favourite ever incarnation of the Master, by miles and Eve miles.
Well, yeah, but what about Terry Miles?
What about Terry Miles?
Even Terry Miles, yeah, Linda Miles, Bruce Miles, Frank Miles, all the Miles.
Milesy Cyrus?
Every single Miles. Yeah, I think he's absolutely fantastic, and didn't get long enough in the role. It would have been lovely if they'd have somehow kept him in there for a bit longer.
Perhaps given him a baguette instead,
eh, Ben? Car crash with telly that was that missy piece of rubbish.
Long enough in the role, maybe a baguette.
But yeah,
would
really
have
enjoyed it, really liked it. And John Sim for Master.
I'm wasted on this programme, and I don't know why I bloody bother.
Do you know what? We have been saying that for about 12 years.
Anyway, yeah, well, thank you, Ben. Where do I get up to? What?
I just posted a link to where you can see Time Crash in the Messenger.
Yes, it's called YouTube, Adam. It's on YouTube.
No, it is not on YouTube.
It is on YouTube. I'm watching it on YouTube right now.
Last time I've searched for it like 2 weeks ago. It was not on YouTube.
It's definitely on UK YouTube.
Anyway, where do we get up to?
GB, it's on. Hold on.
Terry Miles says, isn't that chap the Doctor's father-in-law? Robert Vance Jr. says, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year, Robert. I did enjoy the 3-part stories. Yes, us too. And the Peter Davison bits coming. Yes, you've obviously joined us just after Kirby spent half an hour talking about its upcoming inclusion in the journey.
For the Americans who can't find Time Crash, and for a nice clean copy of Time Crash, I put it in the Messenger.
Well
I'll
done,
accept
Kev.
those words, Kirby.
Which rather segues nicely into what did you think of the Sound of Drums and the Last of the Time Lords?
I like the Sound of Drums. I don't like the Last of the Time Lords.
Oh.
Sound of Drums is a cracking good story, and then the whole thing just degenerates
it's regenerating
with the Last of the Time Lords. It's just not. It's useless. Although the business in the street, by the way, where she's called out, and I believe that we're going to find out that that's the same house that Donna and her family.
But that might be a reason for that, because it was a turn left timeline.
Yes.
So I've written that's acceptable.
Yes. So I am not fond of the John Sim Master at all.
Ooh, Ben, what do you think of that?
He does not act like the Master should, and he gets even worse when he starts ripping into chicken a little later on. Definitely not my favorite Master. Of course, Delgado is my favorite Master, but so meh.
Okay, well, thank you, Kirby. Right, that leads us on to Kirby's little bit of feedback section.
Oh, wait. Can I read Mary's
go on.
2-sentence thing?
Good, because I've got to find the next bit, so carry on. Good.
She says, the magical revival of the Doctor from his Dobby Doctor state was hard to swallow, but both stories were otherwise fun to watch. I would be more critical in person, but that's not happening right now.
Right, okay.
Okay, so let me refresh Facebook.
Do I need to do some
can I just say this is definitely my least favourite incarnation of feedback so far. I can't believe you don't like. I'm so upset by that.
Why?
You don't like John Sim as the Master.
He's not. The Master should not be crazy. The Master is scheming, not crazy.
He's not crazy, mate. He's absolutely mental.
Exactly.
That's why I love it. That's what he's just
damaged, Kirby.
He's completely off his head. It's just power.
He got resurrected by the Time Lords and got damaged, and he did explain this. When he was talking about the Time War, when he got away, he ran away from the Time War.
Why he's almost a lot here, but the other Masters we've seen,
Yes, because they weren't
Before
involved
this,
in a
he was
time
not
war.
crazy.
Yeah, but they weren't involved in a time war. I think what they're trying to establish it is that the Master's got PSD, what have you called it? Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Traumatic stress disorder.
Because of the time war. They said
No,
it's
So, well, that's
no,
bad.
he's
Really? I've
crazy
never picked
because he
up on
looked
that.
into the untempered schism, which would have
There's a bit of
found him
both.
as a child.
a bit of both, but I think there's something in him. The fact that he, the Master, ran away from an opportunity to kill lots and lots of Daleks, etc., etc., because he was resurrected, remember, as they said, to have the job of finding a horrible way to fight an evil foe, i.e. the Daleks, and instead of fighting them, he ran off. Because he didn't know the Doctor was the one, who blew up Gallifrey. Or did he? Right then, Kirby, carry on.
Okay, so one thing that whenever we do these two-parters, I now always give Andy a little bit of a tease, because at one point he thought we would do these separately. So I told him both of them, Andy. The first comment was from Andy saying, already done and in Master's inbox for feedback. Billy, this is not a favorite of mine.
What is that supposed to be? Is that supposed to be an Australian accent? Oh, sorry, that's Billy's northern accent you were attempting.
Yes.
Right.
Was that Billy? Oh my God. That was like Adam doing an impression of anyone.
Robert Wentz Jr., two of my favorite of the three-part story. What, does that mean he didn't like the first one? Whereas the first one was set up, the sound of drums brings about the alternative reality, showing how far off the Master is. John Sim was okay, and the CGI time riff was fantastic. Captain Jack was kind of set aside in Last of the Time Lords. We get Martha's year walk across the Earth to set up the Angel Network for the Doctor. In the end, Jack destroys the paradox set up in the TARDIS. The Doctor kills the Master with kindness. The Master doesn't want to be with the Doctor and allows himself to die from the bullet shot given by his wife. Also, who picks up the Master's ring from the Star Wars bonfire? 3.5 out of 5. By the way, I picked up the John Pertwee Blu-ray with the introduction of the Master, watching the special features now.
Cool.
It's the person who picks the ring up is Joan Collins' character out of Dynasty from the 80s.
Right, it's the whole magic. We can
Oh, Dynasty
revive
was
the
magic.
Master. I hate that too. Brandon Moore says, "You've been watching
How
too
do
much."
you like it? How do you like it, Brandon Moore? I bet no one's ever done that to him before, ever.
You've been watching too much TV. Sound of the Time Wars by Russell T. Davies. Rustle. Well, this is a mixed bag. He could always rustle the bag. There's some great stuff in here and some not so great stuff. First off, the main thing that stands out in memory is the music. Murray Gold does a pretty good job here with this. This is Gallifrey being particularly outstanding. Jack is pretty much wasted here, not really doing anything much, something he has a habit of doing with his return appearances in Who. But the reveal of him as the face of Bo is a great twist. Martha is in many ways the star of the story, and Freema more than delivers. I definitely prefer the harder, world-weary Martha of the 1 year later world to the mopey, "Oh, Doctor, let me give you these gooey eyes" that we've had for a lot of the series. As a child, however, I was more than pleased when she left the TARDIS at the end of the series, as I was pretty unimpressed. I'm much more of a fan of her as an adult, I must say. The Doctor is the weakest part of the story. RTD said he wanted to set up the Master as the Doctor's opposite and equal, so why not give them hardly any chance to play off each other in the same scene? The Doctor becoming both Gandalf and then Dobby is unforgivable, and don't get me started on the "everybody says the Doctor's name" as a resolution. John Sim is great in this episode, stealing and occasionally chewing on every scene he's in, but he's not really the Master.
Yes, he is.
See. He's a bit
1-1,
more.
I think that is Kirby there. I think that's 1-1.
He's a bit more of something else more manic and potent than the suave and cunning villain of Roger Delgado. But overall, I like.
It sounded like you wanted a sword fight as you said that.
Playing with the Toclafane is pretty cool, but the Paradox machine is pretty naff.
A paradox.
Yes, the drums in the head concept is good, but used much better in The End of Time. Oh, and I like Alexandra Moen as Mrs. Saxon. She's hot.
Yep.
Overall, the weakest RTD finale, 8 out of 10 for the first part and 6.5 out of 10 for the second, due to the weak resolution. Next time, don't forget to put your shields up.
I noticed, though, Kirby, you missed the opportunity of pronouncing Agiman. But never mind, in that particular
Yes, I did.
text. Yes.
You noticed that.
I did.
Because I wasn't sure I'd get it right. And I didn't need to, because Prima works just fine. I posted a little frame from the Confidential where Tennant is filming his turning into Dobby, and he says, "I've just felt a bit of a goon, to be honest," because we were talking goons the other day.
Splendid, thank you, Kirby.
And Robert Rintz Jr. says, "LOL, too bad he didn't ask for socks or a sock." And then Ian Kirk's script, which I will not read.
Thank you. Right, I know what's coming through on the feed. Oh dear. Yes, so we've got coming up. We've got Robert Vance Jr. Today's master is like the Joker. Neil James says, sorry I missed feedback. Been away in Belgium for New Year's. Beer and chocolate heaven. I really like the first episode. Turned out a little in the second. 3 out of 5. And he said, also, Happy New Year, you sex bots. Obviously referring to me. Is there a few? Has my picture been like multiplied on the screen or something? Maybe he's watching it in several windows. Perfectly understandable.
Master.
Oh,
You know, in Time Crash, a reference is made to Belgium.
Wow. Thanks.
Because
for that,
the if the two TARDISes which have come together actually explode, they'll create a hole the exact size of Belgium.
Ben, I've just sent you some blurb from Terry Miles.
Yeah, I've got it.
Thank you. Hey?
You want me to do it now?
Yeah, because that'll give me a filler time to put.
Oh no! Does that mean I get the other one?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Sorry, Ben's contracted to read the other one.
So he gets to read both of them.
Yeah, he does.
Hold on.
You've had your bit.
Is that allowed?
Fine.
He's had his
I'm
bit.
not sure. I'm not sure that's allowed.
It is
actually.
allowed.
I don't think I can't do both of them. That surely goes way over the amount of words I'm allowed to say in our contract.
No, you can read. Yes. Anyway, carry on, because if you read that bit, and then I can play some audios between then and the next bit you've got to read, which I haven't sent you yet.
No, because, okay. Firstly then, Jack the Doctor and Martha use Jack's vortex manipulator to travel back in time from the far future, thinking they'd arrived when the TARDIS had arrived. As always, the TARDIS had missed the date it was heading for and arrives about 18 months earlier, giving Harry Saxon, a.k.a. the Master, plenty of time to work his way into and eventually in charge of the government.
Back to you, babe. And sorry, that's a different song, isn't it?
With a burning love inside.
That's the one.
Is it me, or is the Master insane? No. He's just being the Master. See? 18 months to build a flying aircraft carrier, more like 18 years, but still, it is a science fiction fantasy TV program. No, see, the problem that you've got there, Linda and Terry, is you're not thinking build back better. You'd easily be able to build one of them in 18 months under Boris, no problem. Pie in the sky, or fly in the sky, as it is. The Toclafane are just as insane as Saxon. They start to kill people who could be their ancestors. That would set up a very big paradox. But you've got a paradox machine, so it doesn't matter. As usual, the Master wants to destroy everything in the universe, this time to stop the drumming in his head. Do you know, I have that all the time, but it's normally when I'm drumming. Why did the Doctor turn into the Dobby Doctor? As people age, they only shrink a little bit, not 4 foot, or 1.2192 metres for those who don't do metric. This story was dragged out and could have been shortened to 1 episode. The Doctor leaves without a companion. That's a bit dangerous. He should never be left without a carer. Oh dear, the Titanic has just crashed into the TARDIS. Or has the spaceship Titanic just crashed into the TARDIS? Spoilers! To be continued.
Yes, thank you, Linda and Terry.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
There is a PS here.
Okay.
Which says, the latest episode, the whatever of the Daleks. Yes, again, they're back at Christmas / New Year. Come on, Chibnall. A new monster would be nice. Fast-paced and a nice firework display, but it was boring. Stay safe and well, everybody. Linda and Terry Miles.
I'd quite happily watch the episode again. I quite enjoyed it. Right. So what have we got here? Oh, yes, we've got this.
Well, good evening, 20 megabytes of Andy, sitting at my computer. It's 29th of December. I've done, as Kirby, delighted to see. I've seen on Facebook, I've done lots and lots of ironing in the last few days, which means, of course, I've been watching Doctor Who.
Hey.
I'm watching 2 extremely good episodes. The end of the Master series, trilogy, and nearly the end of the Master himself. Of course, we know that's not true. But what do you say about this? Well, you say it's an absolute belter, isn't it? Because it really takes a story on. I mean, go the other 3 parts. Really works. It meant you could stretch the story out. You had time to develop, had time to have different parts going on. So you had the time with them on Earth, your time on the sky ship of whatever kind. Slight point there. I wonder what time this is meant to be set in, because, I mean, certainly in 2021 we don't have sky ships. Is it one of those things like Unit in the A was supposed to be set sort of sometime in the mid-1980s, back in 1970? So
you're overthinking it, Andy.
2050? Because we don't know where Martha's comes from, do we? You know, is she contemporary? But just a side point as well. But anyway, what you've got here is a story about the Master coming back and a really audacious plan to always reinstate Gallifrey, but this would be malevolent Gallifrey, with a possibly a new Time Lord race. I mean, is the Master going to have lots of children? I mean, lots of little Time Lord masters and mistresses or misses running around? Who knows? But it really is. I mean, this is quite one of the biggest things of scale the Master's ever come with. I mean, I think Delgado maybe had one, and certainly the Anti-Alien Master tried to go the other way. He wanted to actually destroy the universe, but actually to sort of have a war versus against the universe. I like the bit about when this Sol 3 is off limits. You know, it's you reckon it's a self-destruct. I thought that was again, that shows this is set. This isn't contemporary. Coming more to the fact this is probably set sometime in the future. Don't know how far in the future. But there you go. But the story itself really just go along. It develops, and there's things you don't see coming. I mean, you have the abortive escape attempt, the real escape attempt. There's things like the network of satellites that all made sense. You know, it's sort of like a bit of a throwaway line beforehand, but suddenly it all comes back to play. You understand what Martha's doing, and it's there was the power of non-violence. The Japanese apparently do have a word for it. I can't remember what it is. I'd have to read 2010 because they mentioned it in that. But that's what the Doctor was using, and he cannot kill. Although we have seen Pete Davidson and Conor Baker kill a couple of people. But the way he uses, a bit like judo and martial arts, he's using the Master against himself, and the way it resolved with the everybody, including Lucy Saxon, saying "Doctor," because I mean she turned at the end, hadn't she? She knew what he was like, and obviously did for him in the end. John Barrowman. Excellent as Jack as usual. Martha able to come into her own. Again, this is the beauty of having a 3-part story, that it gave room for each individual character to breathe and have their own story. So you have the Master doing things by himself, you have the Doctor doing things by himself, you have Martha doing things by herself, Jack doing things by himself, other things going on. Obviously, Lucy Saxon was obviously used to the Master's attitude. She understood what he's like, and when that poor Lady Journeys got killed, I thought that's almost quite a funny moment when the Master opened the door and scream, shut the door, open again, scream, shut the door. Ooh, how do you explain that mess to somebody, the cleaner? Oh yes, I cut my finger. But I suppose he is able to hypnotise people, so that wouldn't be too difficult. Some lovely throwbacks as well, with like the Master watching the Teletubbies, throwback to the Mind of Evil. The Master having jelly babies occasionally. The Doctor had jelly babies, but again, it's little touches like that for the new fan wouldn't have meant anything, but they wouldn't have noticed it. But for the old fan, like me, would have noticed that. And that's, a nice little touch to put those sort of things in. And the way it's resolved with the Master refusing to regenerate, an absolute... Yeah, I mean, because to make sure he left the Doctor on his own, though, of course, we know he didn't. He's still going strong in various forms somewhere in the universe. But the sheer desolation of the Doctor, the fact that, he is once again the only Time Lord, or at least so he thinks, because Gallifrey's gone, and it's what was the relationship to them? Clearly they were friends early, and it has been speculated. Were they brothers? Who knows?
They're brothers.
But then it sets it up with the ring, and of course you see, looks like a woman's hand picking the ring up, and of course that then comes home to roost with Missy. So again, I think this is RTD putting things in there that can come up later, because this one as well with the skies full of diamonds. Again, it's linking all little bits that just look like throwaway lines, and they put them all together, and that's why I think this story worked really so well. And if RTD can match this sort of style and just sheer level of storytelling and keep doing it over a multi-episode format. There's a few comments I've heard about Flux, is how again that allowed the story to develop and people to develop the characters as well. So hopefully that's an omen for the future. But anyway, I wish you all a happy new year, although by the time you've done that it'll be the 2nd of January, and who knows what 2022 will bring us. But till then, be seeing you.
Andy Nunny, everyone. Oh, okay. That's an underwhelming response.
Master?
Yes.
The name was kind of down to me and Kirby.
I almost when I was asking for the feedback, I almost messaged you guys to say, "Oh, we gotta do it later because of the new Doctor Who," because I didn't realize that at the time that the new one was going to be on the 1st and not on Sunday.
Yes, it was on a Saturday night, Kirby. That hasn't happened for a while.
Yes.
I will say, anybody who does watch the episode that went out yesterday, watch it to the very, very end for the sneak peek of the next special, which I presume is going out.
You mean the Sea Devils?
Yeah, I was kind of try and avoid that particular spoiler.
It's already been posted. Good grief.
I don't care if it's already been posted. You might be a Reese Parton of this world.
You might also be listening to this in 2027.
Yes.
It's everywhere, and I love the fact that they look perfect.
They do look almost exactly like they did, except they've got eyes that look like they're alive. That's all I can say.
And
don't
you have a cosplayer there on the Isle of Wight who has a Sea Devil costume?
Yes, that would be Julian, who has more recently been cosplaying the Grinch. Anyway, right.
Happy New Year, 20 Megabyte Podcast.
Happy New Year, Ian.
The Sounded Drums and Last of the Time Lords by Russell T Davies. A smug Prime Minister who can't be trusted. Could that happen? At least he's wearing a mask. Such a long scream from the journalist. She has the pain tolerance of an Italian footballer. Martha walked the earth to teach everyone to pray for the Doctor. It was wasted on the Japanese. And only the TARDIS crew remember it. Well, it was her end of the show story. The Master turns the Doctor into Baby Yoda. When he is restored, so are his clothes.
Different clothes.
The Master gets killed by Lucy Saxon. Till death us do part. Is Captain Jack the face of Bo?
Yes.
Well, Barrowman does have a big head.
Ah.
They reset the universe. They don't seem to have done that yet in the current series. He mentioned Henry VIII at the end. Did he have 6 mothers-in-law? I would not want to meet someone that grumpy. Eve of the Daleks by Chris Chibnall. Spoiler music, wrong podcast. The S fell off. Aisling B is an actress turned comedian. but he's best known for being on quiz shows. I can't pronounce her middle name. Nick has the same first name as the voice of the Daleks. And the Dalek says, I am not Nick. There
Yes,
was some brief
we picked up on that one.
speculation whether Nick had killed the women whose items he was storing.
Have you got your
There were
fingers
lots
in
of
your ears, Kirby?
items. I think that
No.
many disappearances would have been noticed. When the Doctor is about to reset the TARDIS, the other two should have left beforehand. Resetting the TARDIS? She might have got that idea from Kirby.
Yeah.
I thought the Daleks were all killed by the flux.
I'm not dead.
Right you are then. Was that the same Dalek in the loop 3 times? I expect somebody has done screen captures to check the Scaro nameplate below the eye stalk.
Ah,
Ooh, good idea.
Sarah's mother is not in the time loop, so I expect it was limited to the building. Daleks do not do exposition. Oh, wait, yes they do. Dan's dislike of Manchester is another football reference.
yes.
Nick and Sarah pairing off at the end was a bit unrealistic, but a theme of Doctor Who. Leela. Martha has a crush on the Doctor in the other stories we are watching, but he does not notice. Yasmin has a crush on the 13th Doctor, who seems not to notice. I would have thought the LGBTQ rainbow on her outfit would have been a clue.
Yes.
Was that Jeff watching the fireworks? Setting
Yes.
off the fireworks inside a building would not have resulted in a display like that. It is a fantasy science fiction TV show. An enjoyable romp for a special episode.
It was.
Timey-wimey, but not too much for a general audience. Bye for now.
Yes, I totally agree with that, Ian. It's something that the trouble is, it won't get a massive viewing audience because the idiots at the BBC decided to put on, yes, on a Saturday night, but opposite the first episode of The Masked Singer. So, where do you think
I've
most
never seen The
normal
Masked Singer.
TV
I have
viewers
no
would be?
desire to.
What?
I've never seen The Masked Singer. I have no desire to.
Well, you're a Doctor Who fan.
Kirby, it's on in my country too, and I have no desire. What the crap is
It
it?
gets
Seriously.
massively more viewers than Doctor Who does, and that's where most people, if they had a choice, if they were the casual viewer, where they would have gone to ITV.
Only
Never mind,
you've got
that's-
3 channels.
or somewhere else, or Netflix.
Oh, Master,
Oh, yeah,
Master,
mate. God.
Yes.
Master. You know, I go back and I listen to our podcast from 9 years before we do these new ones, and it's
Too
very
much time in your
interesting
hands.
because 9 years ago we came up with dealing with some of these rather fantastic things that happen on Doctor Who. We had not yet come up with the phrase, I believe it was your phrase, it's a fantasy science fiction TV
No, you got
program.
that wrong. It's a science
Yeah,
fiction.
and I can't wait until I finally hear it, and I will let you guys know.
Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat waiting for that one. It's like
Also,
me
9
when
years ago, we weren't doing quotes.
when
I
I-
know
when I
I'm
s-
the one who started quotes.
It's like when I invented the that's what she says line as well. Somewhere
Yes.
along the line.
What?
What?
A comedy
What?
pause there.
What?
What? Is that the Doctor?
Sorry, I'm watching the darts, but that just takes a Nicky.
Oh dear.
That's
Anyway.
what she said.
Ben, you have something from a certain counsellor to dictate to us.
Yeah. Are you going to claim you wrote this as well? Okay, here we go. Hold on, I'll just have a swig of me Coke first.
Oh, dear.
La 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 la. Here we go. The prime megalomaniac, king of the world, or the insanity of the master. Dear 20 megabyters, the sound of drums, the last of the Time Lords, is of course a closely studied warning to history of the pitfall. No, seriously, what is coming here is absolute gold. I bet you can't guess which direction Labour councillor Alan T. Butcher is going. It's like me giving a review of a Man City match. It wouldn't be good. The Sound of Drums, The Last of the Time Lords, is of course a closely studied warning to history of the pitfalls of electing a megalomaniacal.
Never mind. I think we basically get what he's saying.
Narcissistical psychopath with no empathy to lead the government. It insists that such an egotist shall willfully abrogate the common interest to serve their own selfish purposes. They will inevitably operate on the basis that there is one rule for them and one for everyone else, and be prepared to deliberately distract from their blatant falsification by any expedient manoeuvre and expect to get away with it. Once it has gained a grip, such a personality can only be taken on and dedicated spreading of simple truth once it reaches a critical mass to see it for what it is, and by collective mobilisation against it. Thank heavens we have had this warning, so it could have been avoided in reality, even if it wasn't actually avoided. I don't know what he means by all of that. It should be noted that whilst the Doctor transforming the Doctor into a god, just like happened with Rose, in order to let him put right a massively overblown world cataclysm, is a sign of how poor the writer is at endings. In fact, this ending was better signposted than you might have thought. However, if Russell T Davies ever gets to run Doctor Who again, we should hope he has learned a bit about how to finish a story more subtly and credibly. We also learn that Thrax from Theros Beta survived the debacles shown during the Doctor's trial and found his way to Earth, adopting the more low-key name of Clive Jones, and went on to be Martha's dad. Martha.
She's quite nice in this story. She's got her hair down. She's still wearing that very tight leather jacket. She's very pretty. And I think, how long ago was this made? 13 years ago? 14 years? She still looks exactly the same. It's sickening. Carry on.
Martha in a maid's uniform.
No, that was Tish. Carry on.
I was thinking about Martha. All in all, The Sound of Drums, The Last of the Time Lords, is an entertaining and impressive story which has an ending which is probably not quite as bad as it seemed at the time, but leaves something to be desired. Hold on a minute. I'm not putting up with anyone, shouting out from the audience on this. I'm not, because I'll have to start shouting at, doing my put downs, The portrayal of the Master in the unhinged way he is seen doesn't seem entirely satisfactory, but it is difficult to deny this trajectory from his past, and the actual delivery by John Sims is quite powerful.
Excuse me,
Likewise,
it's John Sim. There's no S at the end of his name. John Sim.
Well, the thing is, because he's in it more than once, John Sim, because there's 2 episodes.
Oh, of course.
That's why
that
he's
works for me.
It.
That works for me. Carry on.
I'm sticking up for Big Al. Likewise, I mean, 99% of the time is pretty good on his punctuation, so we'll let him off that. And it's not even punctuation; that's just a mistake.
Yes.
Bear with me. Sorry. Peppa Pig.
What?
Sorry, I lost my place. Likewise, his demise at the end of the story seems like a misstep. Was that meant to be? Yeah, I'm sure it is meant to be misstep. It does fit. Given the potential he has shown and the fact it has to be undone for further adventures. But again, this fits the past patterns for the Master and gives powerful movement for the Doctor-Master relationship.
No. It says a powerful moment for the Doctor.
Oh, God, so it does. Yeah, this is the problem when you try
movement.
to
You're probably thinking you need to go to the toilet in a minute.
What did I say? Movement. Oh, I did, didn't I? Yeah. It's 2-1 to Smith in the darts. It's very exciting. Putting the Doctor out of commission for... That's why I'm reading it so fast. Putting the Doctor out of commission for a large section of the story gives the opportunity for Martha and others to step up. Her decision to step away from the TARDIS once it's all over does good service to her tactical character, taking control back of her own life. Do you like the way when I make a little mistake like that, I'll make a little noise, because that way it could just be a glitch that when people are listening.
So that's what you learned at DJ school, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, no, actually, it was a podcast school, something you've clearly never been to. This story. This story is perhaps one episode too short, as given further. No, listen to his rationale here. This story is perhaps 4 episodes too short. All right, just one, Kirby. As given further explanation, there might have been a convincing way to justify that ending in a more convincing manner. The man makes a good point, sir. Yes. Next up, Doctor Who and the Robots of Poseidon, or Banakafalata should be so lucky in love. Banakafalata. That's right. Is that correct? Banakafalata. Yes, which we'll all be saying with much hilarity in the next podcast episode.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my thoughts. Alan T. Butcher.
Yes. Thank you, Alan T. Banakafalata. I will say, I have said this in the past, that politics is, of course, banned on this show, but Alan has a way of working it rather conveniently and cunningly into his feedback.
I hadn't noticed.
For years.
I hadn't even gleaned anything about what he was trying to make the point of there.
Yes. Banakafalata, the actor that plays it was Jimmy V. I met him up at Newcastle.
Did he know who you were?
I also played a character in Sarah Jane Adventures, I believe. And I met him up at Newcastle. In fact, he was I had a chat with him. Very, very funny man.
Did he chat back?
He does like his ladies. Right. What did you say? Fed back, did you say?
I said, did he chat back?
Of course he did. He initiated conversation. I was stood there. He nudged me in the leg with his elbow and said, she's rather nice, isn't she? But in a Scottish accent, because he's got a very broad Glasgow. And he was
she's rather nice, isn't she?
He was referring to
you're not the
very, very beautiful Emily from Big Finish.
Oh, lovely.
A bit like that, with a few F words here and there. He was holding on to what I thought was a pint of lager. It turned out to be a half pint, and cracking lots of small people jokes, which I thought was a bit inappropriate. Until I realised that he fell into that particular bracket. No, it's a very funny bloke. Right,
did you go on in telling them? That would have been even funnier.
Neil James says, "Nice one, Kirby." Surely that's got to be a joke.
For what? What's a nice one of what?
Or are you surprised someone's complimenting you on a potential good bit of podcasting?
Yes.
Yeah, on this show, yeah.
Lillian Robin says, "Wasn't Harold the last Anglo-Saxon king of England?" And then she says 1066 and all that. 1066. That's. Oh yes, I see. That's King. Yes, you. Well done, Lydia. And I'm going to give you your historical. It took. How long did it take her to Google that? 2 minutes. So I've got to give her a ding for that.
Hold on. Let's find out how long it takes to Google that.
Well, you have to use Harold Anglo-Saxon 1060s, etc. Yes.
Well, we all know that Harold Saxon was killed on the battlefields of which battle? Which battle did he die in 1066?
Battle of Hastings.
And where did the Battle of Hastings take place?
Hastings.
During the first Doctor was there.
But where did it take place? Where did the Battle of Hastings
Somewhere
take place?
near Hastings. I can't remember exact place. It
was called.
Yes.
Actually, the question is in the answer. No, the other way around. The answer is in the question. For it took place in a place called Battle.
What?
No, it did, honestly. No, I'm not BSing you, because I couldn't think of another way not to say bull. Yeah, it actually took place, I promise you, in a place called Battle.
But was it named was it named Battle after the battle?
Probably.
I don't care.
Oh,
but that's what I've learned from horrible histories.
Right.
And the fact that my dad's been a history teacher for about 9,000 years, so
Right.
he was there.
Doctor Who news.
Master.
What?
You didn't give me a chance to. I wanted to say a few things about Jimmy V.
Okay,
Nice,
go on then.
We know how
Yes.
vicious your tongue can be.
He was also one of the goblins in the first Harry Potter movie.
Well, I
and
would
he's
expect he would be.
he
Most
was-
of the little people of Great Britain were in that particular Gringotts band.
took over. He took over as being inside R2D2 when there had to be someone inside of R2D2 in The Last Jedi,
Yes, I know.
and he has been in Doctor Who as multiple characters. Obviously, the Moxa Balhoun, the Space Pig,
Yes,
Grosk,
Yes.
Anakafalata,
yes,
and Skovox Blitzer.
yes. I know this. We've talked about this on the show in the past.
Yes, but
But there may be
what if-
people.
What if someone
who
is
don't.
listening for the first time?
There's a few episodes for them to go and back listen to where they'll probably end up hearing the same blimmin' thing. But yes, you are correct in all those things you say. And I knew.
I want to know what I did a nice one of.
What?
You said there was a comment.
Oh, I don't know. I doubt they're going to come up with an answer. No, they haven't. So you just have to live with not knowing on that one.
Well,
Doctor Who
maybe he's
News.
still watching and can say
No
something.
one has posted the answer to your question. Doctor Who news.
42 is the answer.
What? 42?
The answer to the question of life, the universe, and everything is 42.
Whatever. Anyway, what do we get up to? Eve of the Daleks as publicity stuff, so but we don't have to worry about that. Just pictures of the cast from Eve of the Daleks.
And there's probably a picture of a Sea Devil.
Doctor Who magazine and 2022 yearbook is out with lots and lots of Doctor Who features from the current era. And there's Toby Haydock has done one of his wonderful Doctor Who in memoriam thingies. I haven't watched it yet, but because I can't do it, I'll get a tear in my eye, and I can't really podcast with a tear in my eye. And the overnight viewing.
Your mouth you talk with, you don't talk with your eyes.
The overnight viewing figures for Eve of the Daleks rather
12.
sort of illustrates what I was saying about it being up against the Masked Singer.
17 people
3.21 million. So there you go. Oh, but it was the sixth most watched programme of the day, with BBC One's The Tourist taking the top spot with 4.59 million viewers. There you go. That is Doctor Who news this week.
Master,
I have some Doctor Who news. Master. I have some news.
Yes.
And it's a story.
And then I wanted to say something.
Oh,
Okay, you do yours
no.
first. Mate.
Oh.
No.
I insist Kirby does his first because
No,
due to
you
time
said it
difference.
first.
No, because of the time lag between here and America, you probably said it first.
No, you said it first.
Are you sure?
Yes.
This is like Christmas when you pull the crack.
While you're arguing over it, Alan T. Butcher says the Battle of Senlac Hill was not referred to as the Battle of Hastings until the Victoria era. Well, that's a fact. Thank you very much, Alan.
Stuff. Well done, Councillor Alan T. Bakalapalapa. My Doctor Who news is this: Sherlock star and Doctor Who writer. Next two words, anybody?
Writer. Oh, that would be Mark Gatiss.
Very good. Says, and I like this. This is just a nice little light-hearted story that I found that I wanted to share with you. Says he literally had to sit down when he heard that Russell T Davies was returning to Doctor Who next year. You could have knocked me over with a feather when I heard, remembered Gatiss, who penned some episodes under Davies the first time round. I was on holiday. I got a text and just sort of sat down on a tree stump and went, "What? It's amazing.
What?
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Very exciting times." It's the most brilliant thing because Russell's doing it for all the right reasons. He's on a creative high. He doesn't have to do it, but he wants to do it. And this is why I think is really interesting. And I've no idea what he's going to do. Every Doctor Who fan has an idea of how they want Doctor Who to be. Russell has done it, and now he's doing it again. So God knows what this is going to be.
Indeed. Oh, by the way, I've met Mark Gatiss.
You've met him, have you?
You've met everybody.
At the Doctor Who, what was it called again? The Doctor Who, not the celebration.
Convention.
That was the anniversary.
Convention.
Festival, the Doctor Who Festival. Yes, me and Mebby Delrose had our picture taken with him.
You've met him? Wow. God, that's 3 people you've met.
I think he's met more than that.
4? 5? Have I miscounted?
I don't know. Well, when somebody gets mentioned, I'll tell you if I've met them or not.
I'll tell you what, when we start talking about famous people and pop stars, I'll tell you if I've interviewed them.
I met pop stars. I met Lee...
Hold on. Are you going to go for Lee Latchford Evans? If you are. I mean, seriously. All right, I'll trump that with I met Craig McLachlan.
Oh, yeah, well, you've met a few people when you were doing radio
I've met
things.
many, many famous people.
Yes,
mate.
you met Peter Osgood as well.
He was so lovely. Don't get me started on Peter Osgood.
And yes, he was lovely and didn't mind you dropping his cup winner's medal. I'd keep mentioning this, don't I? I don't know this.
The worst moment of my life.
I've got that video of you just after that happened. It's very funny.
Have you? I'd never ever want to see that because
I want to see it.
No, God, that would be horrible.
I want to see it.
Do you know the story, Kirby?
We've had it on the show many times. We had the story,
Okay.
that is, but it's just the expression of mortification on your face. I must have it on my desktop somewhere.
Horrible.
When I'm a bit sad, I dig up that video and watch it with glee. Let's see if I can find it. Carry on,
Master?
Ben.
I'd hate to see it because I'd be about 4 stone lighter as well, and I'd hate to see myself that thin these days.
Anyway, yeah. So, anything else? I'm just doing a search on my desktop.
No, I've done my Doctor Who news now. It's now Kirby's turn.
Ooh, what's this?
Master,
This must be. It says 2004. Hang on.
Bloody hell! That's now 18.
Oh, what's all
Maybe
this is it. Hey!
Maybe
Let's just talk us through that medal dropping incident.
That was like a real refusal as well, wasn't it?
No.
That was like a horse at the Grand National running up the first Windsor Games. Have you seen that?
Let's talk us through that medal dropping incident. No.
Oh, that was horrible. Thanks for making me relive that yet again, Adam. Thank you very much, mate.
I forgot I had the video of it. Right, what I have actually had the video of. I should have actually been filming that. I had a facility to film, and all I film is the aftermath. Ridiculous.
Send it over to me, mate. I'd love to see that, actually.
I will send it over to you. All right, anyway.
Yeah, post it in the group.
No, I have creative control of it.
Master,
What?
the thing that I wanted to say was 2 days ago, I posted, you guys know I'm a big Goon Show fan.
Oh, you?
I need to drop a few stone. Clang! There's one now. Kirsty pointed me at a Goon Show podcast that started up this year, and in particular, an episode of the podcast featuring our good friend Toby Hadoke. Hey, Toby.
Toby Hadoke.
Talking about the Goon
Can I interrupt you just for a
parodies.
moment before I forget, Kirby, that Toby's lovely wife, who's not very well, so partner, is not very well at the moment, because she's had long-term illnesses, etc. She got made an MBE because of her
cool.
because where she's disabled, and she's been promoting artists who are disabled getting work in acting and what have you. She got an MBE out of it, and I think that's rather marvellous.
Well done, you.
Anyway, Toby is talking about the Goon Show parody of Quatermass, the episode called The Scarlet Capsule,
Yes.
on that podcast. So I put a link to it, and thank you, Kirsty, for pointing me at that as well.
Thank you, Kirsty. Didn't she used to be on the show?
Yes, she did.
Yeah, I was going to say something else. Oh, Lillian Robbins says, "Well done, Alan." That's in relation to the Battle of Senlac Hill. Or he did spell hill wrong. I presume it was hill, not Senlac Hull, as it is actually spelt on the thing.
We still don't know what my nice one was, huh?
No, you'll never know.
I'll never know.
Did you ever know that you're my hero?
Oh, Ben.
You're nothing like I would like to be. I'm gonna do a podcast on my own.
Right, so next time we'll be reviewing a story called The Voyage of the Damned, featuring a little Australian person called Miley Canogue.
Yes, if I could just at this point, as a 46-year-old, nearly 47-year-old straight male, at this point I just need to say, Kylie.
I always feel that when I see Kylie. She doesn't age, does she?
Yes, she does now. Oh,
well, she was on that New Year thing the other night with that.
Yeah, no, you look at her on that, then you look at her on this. She has aged a lot. She didn't age for like 30 years.
She still looks great.
Oh, she still looks lovely for 50-something or other.
Is she?
But she has definitely
Oh, well,
aged.
I didn't really watch it properly. Ollie.
I didn't watch it at all because it had that bloody awful Ollie Alexander.
Ollie Alexander, that's it.
He wasn't bringing my New Year's Eve out for me. So I watched cricket.
I watched a thing on Channel 5. It was the 80s hits as voted by the public. You know, the top 50 80s hits. I was absolutely
which
gutted when it
7
got to the
people
end.
did they get hold of for that?
I don't know.
Chart?
Did you see which won it? The biggest 80s hit of all time. I was so annoyed. Last Christmas by Wham. I don't think so.
Because it was they probably collated that chart at the beginning of December.
Guns N' Roses and A Sweet Child O' Mine was number 4. Acceptable. Been beaten by Last Christmas by Wham. I flicked off the TV. I wish I'd recorded it now. Anyway, right, yes.
Well, at least it wasn't Bohemian Rhapsody, even though that was released in the 80s and the 70s, because normally that wins most music polls, even if it's not part of it.
The only Queen song that made it into it was Lady Gaga's namesake, Radio Gaga. Right,
that's her sister.
Hey?
That's Lady Gaga's sister.
Yeah.
Radio Gaga.
Radio Gaga, yeah. Hang on.
I finished watching, just before we wound up, I finished watching Lost in Space, the 3rd season of, and it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay, thanks.
There you go.
Neil James says Kirby Bartlett Sloan, Belgium reference. I think that might be what you're talking about, that nice one. Is that right? Is that for you? Okay, Belgium reference. Yes. Well done. Stuff we'll watch. I think I talked about that on the last show when we went to watch Spider-Man No Way Home. Cracking film.
Yes, you did.
We haven't watched anything else other than things that have been on the telly. Isabella absolutely adores what's that? It's not The Wedding Singer, is it? Oh yeah, no, it's A Star Is Born, and the BBC put it on. And Isabella for Christmas got a skybox for her room. And I said, well, record it off the BBC. They might not cut anything out. It's after 9 p.m. So did that, put it on. And she was thrilled because it cost us absolutely nothing. And there was nothing taken out of the film. So she was happy.
Best films I watched over Christmas.
What did you watch over Christmas?
Best films, not just watched over Christmas. Best films ever made. Back to the Future 1, 2 and 3.
Were they on then? I love that.
Were they on? It's Christmas, Adam. Yes, they were on.
I just watch them
at
my leisure
all the time. Anytime you want to watch.
Well,
they are just the best.
They are the best. And the actor that plays Biff Tannen popped out a very cool TikTok during that week in which he just to camera did all of Biff's catchphrases, which was quite charming. Really thoroughly enjoyed that because I haven't seen him since he was in the films, you know. So
you mean Thomas F. Wilson?
He's aging well.
You've got Michael J. Fox and Thomas F. Wilson. That's the way to remember it.
Okay. Kirby Bartlett Sloan says they disemboweled them, and then Robert Vance Jr. says, "Now remember, with RTD coming back, can he close the endings of his stories? Can he close the endings of his stories?" Well,
that'd be funny, wouldn't it? If he came back for a season, a series, and he just wrapped up all of the open endings from his first 4.
Yeah, and
Master.
Yes, darling.
I was responding to Alan T. Butcher. He said Anglo-Saxon scribes sometimes omitted unnecessary vowels to save space and time. So I said, They disemboweled them.
Oh, by the way, Kirby, I found a very interesting... because I've got for Christmas, I got Ancestry, everything, worldwide Ancestry. I've only had the British version, so I was able to sort of expand my searches randomly into other nations, specifically the United States. So I thought,
Hi, cousin.
What?
Hi, cousin.
No. I'd need permission to search your family tree to be able to establish that or not. But I did put in Kirby Bartlett Sloane, and found it was like a yearbook entry, and I did screenshot the person in the yearbook entry, and I was going to send it over to you and ask you, is this you? But I can't find the picture now. Isn't that annoying? Oh well, never mind. If I find it, I'll send it to you and say, Kirby, is this you?
Probably.
But until then, not really something for a podcast, but there you go. Until then, thank you for listening, watching, and taking part in the show. Please do join us next time. And goodbye.
Goodbye, Fancy Pants.
Oh, Martha in a maid uniform.
The 20 Megabyte Doctor Who podcast is an APV Services production sponsored by whowon.co.uk, lavazi.co.uk and iwheroes.co.uk. We are a proud member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance. Doctor Who is a trademark of the BBC. No copyright infringement intended.